When I found Marietta, I didn't just find a place to go to college. I found so much more than that.
I found friends. I found sports.
I found my passion.
I found family.
I found my calling. I found a place to call home. Discover what you can find at Marietta by visiting marietta.edu today.
Coming up today on NewsCenter 15, Hong Kong protesters are held up in a Hong Kong university.
And the Christmas tree lights have started.
We'll have these stories and more. NewsCenter 15 starts right now. Good afternoon and welcome to Tuesday's edition of NewsCenter 15. I'm Anthony Herman.
And I'm Roscoe Hatch.
Topic our news this afternoon. Entrepreneurs funded by Prince Andrews has taken down the logos of its corporate sponsors from its website, as firms and charities distance themselves from the British royal over the sex scandal. Andrew's Queen Elizabeth's second son denies an allegation that he had sex with a 17-year-old girl produced him by his friend Jeffrey Epstein, who killed himself in U.S. prison in August while awaiting trial on sex trafficking charges. The scandal has escalated since Andrew's ramblings, denials, and explanations in Distributors TV's interview, aired on Saturday, left many viewers incredulous in his apparent lack of compassion for Epstein's victims drew widespread condemnation. British charity and Outward Bound Trust has called a board meeting this week to discuss Andrew's patronage. A spokeswoman said other nonprofit organizations are having similar internal discussions, British media said. In Britain, royal patronage is usually considered an honor and a boost for charities.
In China, anti-government protesters holed up in a Hong Kong university were frantically searching for escape routes on Tuesday after more than 2 days of clashes with police and dramatic breakouts by rope and motorcycle. About 100 protesters were trapped in the Polytech University a day after students, some tired and fearful of police storming the campus, tried again and again to flee, only to be beaten by the police firing rubber bullets and water cannons and tear gas. Police have made about 1,100 arrests in the past 24 hours on charges including rioting and possession of offensive weapons, they said. The total since June is more than 5,000.
And what's the weather like out there today?
Here to provide a first look at the weather is Landon Santini.
Thank you so much, Roscoe. Well, we've had a bit of a warm front, which is a bit surprising for this time of year. Right now it feels like 43 degrees outside with an expected high of 46. The warm temperatures came to the point that the grass grew a little bit over the last couple of days. We have a low UV index, which is good, rather good air quality and a low pollen count, so no chance of sneezing. The winds outside are running about the south at 4 miles per hour. The humidity outside is 81%. and we're going to have an expected sunset today even earlier at around a little 7 minutes after 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So it looks like we're going to be having temperatures steadying into the very high 40s. But as we get closer to the weekend, they're going to be creeping into the lower 50s, and we get a little bit of a warm front. But we'll talk a little bit more about that in more detail when I come back later on for the 5-day forecast. So until then, back to you guys at the desk.
Wall Street reaction so far to Walt Disney's company long-awaited streaming service suggested investors believe the competition may not be as crushing as expected. Entertainment rival Netflix shares of Disney have surged 8% since the launch of Disney Plus. A week ago, helped along by 10 million signups for the service in its first day. But during the same period, Netflix stock recovered from an initial slump and is up to nearly 3%. With some investors betting the two companies' streaming offerings may be able to coexist, investors for months have viewed the looming launch of Disney Plus as the most dangerous challenge yet. To Netflix's dominance of an incredibly crowded video streaming market, Disney's stock has risen 27% since April when Disney Plus has unveiled, while Netflix remains down 18%.
President Donald Trump's unexpected trip to Walter Reed National Military Medical Center in the Washington suburb of Bethesda, Maryland, led to a variety of rumors about the health of the 73-year-old president, who generally exercises and has waved away advice to lose some weight. Despite some of the speculation, the president has not had any chest pain, nor has he evaluated or treated for any urgent or acute problems. U.S. Navy Commander Sean Conley, Trump's doctor, said in a memo released by the White House. Conley said Trump's total cholesterol is now 165 with a HDL of 70 and an LDL of 84 and a non-HDL of 95, all which are considered healthy levels according to the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute. Trump takes the drug Crestor to low cholesterol at his exam in February when he was declared in a very good health by the White House physician. Trump's total cholesterol was 196.
Coming up, a bomb squad responds to Chicago's International Airport, a man shoots his brother in a hunting accident, and more.
We'll be back after this.
I never chew tobacco.
I don't drink much.
Never smoked a cigarette in my life.
HPV. Isn't that about cervical cancer?
What does that have to do with oral cancer?
HPV? Didn't know that.
Hey, Major, did you get your flu vaccine yet? Make that your mission for today.
Did you say mission? Let's do this. With the flu season coming up, we all have to help protect ourselves by getting the flu vaccine. If you're over 65 like me, you gotta even be more careful. Look out! Our immune system may not be as strong as it used to be, so we have to do everything we can to keep the flu from catching up with us. Educating yourself about your flu vaccine options is important. It's also really easy. So ask about your vaccine options, because if you're a tough guy like me, you may need a tough vaccine. The flu can aggravate other conditions, so make it your mission to get the right flu shot for your age.
Lee, is that you? Did you complete your mission?
Oh, you mean the flu shot? No sweat. Visit the National Council on Aging at ncoa.org/flu to learn more about vaccine options for people 65 and older.
A backpack emitted smoke aboard a Southwest Airlines flight on Monday drew response from the bomb squad at Chicago International Airport. Southwest said that the flight to Austin, Texas was in process of boarding when smoke began showing around a customer's backpack. Flight attendants placed the backpack in a fire-resistant bag and asked the customers to leave the plane. The flame-proof bag was moved to the jetway for response. The passenger carrying the backpack heard a pop and saw smoke. Luckily, no one was injured.
A man actually shot his brother while they were deer hunting in Michigan Saturday. The two men were hunting in Bishop Township, northwest of Detroit, when they were looking for a deer that one brother had shot earlier, around 5:30 p.m. They had exhausted their search and were separated in a dense cornfield. The shooter believed he saw a deer moving through the cornfield and shot from a muzzle-loading rifle, striking his brother. The brother is in serious but stable condition.
A group of family and friends were gathered in Fresno, California backyard Sunday to watch a football game when two gunmen sneaked into the yard and began shooting, killing 4 young men and wounded 6 others. Police are concerned that someone might now seek to retaliate. Though it's not confirmed the shooting was gang-related, it's stated that investigators weren't ruling it out. About 10 people, including several children who were inside the home, were attending the party when the suspects began shooting into the crowd.
Officials are investigating a string of violent horse attacks in upstate South Carolina that left some animals dead and others severely injured. At least 5 horses have been injured in the past 3 weeks, 1 dead and 2 others were euthanized because of their injuries. The attacks have drawn the attention of the governor and state law enforcement officials. Residents also are rattled. Officials are investigating whether or not the wounds are from an animal or a human.
Coming up next, cat food recall, holiday spirits, and helping veterans.
We'll also get to the latest news from Hollywood.
And we'll talk a little bit more about that slight warm front coming up this weekend. That and more when I come back for the 5-day forecast after the break.
Where are we?
We're at Marietta College.
This is where we live at Marietta College.
A cat food company is issuing a nationwide recall over possible salmonella contamination. The Utah-based company Go Raw is recalling its Quest brand 2-pound frozen bag of beef cat food. The recall was put into place after the Minnesota Department of Agriculture found a sample tested positive for salmonella. Federal health officials say salmonella cannot only affect animals that eat the product, but can be a risk to humans who handle it.
The holiday spirit was in the air in Los Angeles Sunday. People gathered for the 18th annual Christmas tree lighting celebration at the Landmark Grove Shopping Complex. Festivities included music, a visit from Santa Claus, fireworks, and of course the lighting of the 100-foot tall Christmas tree. The Christmas tree has 15,000 twinkling lights and 10,000 ornaments. There were also performances from Old Black, Tori Kelly, and others. To add to the magic, the Grove was also transformed into a winter wonderland with the season's first snowfall.
8-year-old Tyler Stallings had helped more than 3,000 veterans and counting. His mother says he has passion for helping veterans since he was just 4 years old. He began making hero bags for homeless veterans. They're filled with gloves, a blanket, a sweater, soap, and much more. In 4 years since he began making the bags, Tyler has raised over $50,000. That's according to the GoFundMe page created by the family. The fall's biggest blockbuster keeps setting records.
Here's Isabella with a look at the Hollywood Minute.
Joker has made box office history. It's the first R-rated movie ever to top $1 billion in worldwide ticket sales, and one of just a few movies with any rating to reach that level without playing in China. Here's a look at the new documentary, After Parkland. Directors Emily Taguchi and Jake Lefferman filmed for months in Parkland, Florida, after last year's devastating shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. Talking with survivors and those who lost friends and loved ones as they made their way through the aftermath and worked to end gun violence in the U.S. A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood with Tom Hanks as Fred Rogers opens Friday, 11/22, and that prompting new calls to follow his commandment of kindness. The nonprofit Child 360, whose staff don Mr. Rogers' signature red cardigans, is hosting Good Neighbor Week with school events aimed at strengthening Rogers' lessons of kindness, acceptance, helpfulness, gratitude, and trust. Beautiful indeed. In Hollywood, I'm Bella Lopez. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Bella. It's time now to check with Landon for our extended forecast.
What do you have for us, Landon?
Well, it's definitely a beautiful day in this neighborhood. You can see that we've got clear skies, no precipitation, no cloud coverage, and probably due to that slight warm front we had yesterday, I mentioned earlier. As you can see, our lovely Buckeye State of Ohio is, except for a small portion in between Cleveland and Columbus, we're pretty much in the clear. And you can see that as we take a look at our state map. As the winds are going to be running around the south this time around, most of the very little cloud coverage and precipitation we had yesterday is coming to the south of us down our neighboring state of West Virginia. And as I mentioned frequently, we're going to be getting a bit of a warm front as we go through the week. Tomorrow, we're going to be having an expected high of 48 and a low of 33, partly sunny conditions. Thursday, like I said, here it comes, an expected drastic jump in temperatures with cloudy conditions, a high of 55 and a low of 50. Then we start the weekend on Friday with a high of 52, low of 36, and a few bits of rain here and there, so that might put a damper on your weekend plans a little bit. And that period of rain is going to continue as we kind of quiet down the temperatures with a high of 47, a low of 27, and we end the weekend on Sunday with a break from the rain, partly sunny conditions with an expected high of 46 and a low of 29. So, fall creeping into winter is very confusing time in the Mid-Ohio Valley, but we're certainly looking forward to Thanksgiving coming up next week, and we'll talk maybe a little bit more about that when we come back on Thursday. But I'll be back later on at the end of the program to give you a quick recap of what we just talked about. But until then, back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Landon. When we come back, Jared Ruffin will have the latest from the world of sports.
Stay with us.
Lopez.
And now we're back with Jared Ruffin for a look at sports.
There's a lot of speculation about Patrick Mahomes and his knee. Can you tell us anything about that?
Yeah, totally. Patrick Mahomes will start for the Kansas City Chiefs against the Tennessee Titans on Sunday, just over 2 weeks after the quarterback's season was jeopardized by a dislocated kneecap. Mahomes never missed practice after hurting his knee on Thursday night against Denver. It turned out there was no structural damage, and it became a waiting game to see whether Mahomes would take the field. He practiced on a limited basis the first week before being ruled out again against Green Bay. He was limited against last week before being inactive against Minnesota. Ohio State star defensive end Chase Young won't play Saturday against Maryland because of possible NCAA issue. The school announced the news along with the team's status report and depth chart for the upcoming game. Statement says Young is being held out because of a possible NCAA issue from last year that the athletic department is looking into. The school did not elaborate. Young says that it is a fallout from borrowing money from a family friend last year. In a statement posted on Young's Twitter account, the All-American acknowledged that I made a mistake by accepting the loan. He said that he repaid it in full and is working with the university and NCAA to get back to the field as soon as possible. Senior James Knox returned a blocked field goal 84 yards for a touchdown to put Marietta College in front of the Pioneers as they went on to defeat the visiting Otterbein University by a score of 21-10 Saturday afternoon at Don Drum Stadium. The Pioneers improved to 5-4 overall and 4-4 in the Ohio Athletic Conference. Otterbein slips to 2-7 on the season and 2-6 in the OAC. Marietta will return and field Saturday where they host the number 1 ranked University Mountain Union on Senior Day. Kickoff is scheduled for 1:30 p.m. Kemba Walker was the winner in his return to Charlotte. Walker missed his first 6 shots before finishing with 14 points and 6 assists in the Boston Celtics' 6th straight win, 108-87 over the Hornets. He received a rousing 1-minute standing ovation from the crowd after the Hornets showed a highlight tribute on the video board that left the point guard in tears. The 3-time All-Star played 8 NBA seasons in Charlotte and is the franchise's all-time leading scorer. Jason Tatum scored 23 points to help the Celtics stay unbeaten since their opening loss at Philadelphia. Gordon Hayward added 20 points and 10 rebounds for the Celtics, who scored 17 points off 21 Charlotte turnovers. And that's it. I'm going to turn it back over to the desk.
Thank you, Jared. Joining us now at the desk is Landon for a last look at the weather. So what's going on with the weather?
Okay, so very quickly summing up what I've talked about already, we're experiencing a slight warm front for the rest of the week, at least for autumn, and it's going to be creeping up into the low to mid 50s as we get to the weekend, but then we're going to get a bit of a rainfall on Friday and Saturday, and that's going to cause things to cool down a bit back into the mid 40s. So that's going to be a nice cool down to crisp and cool temperatures as we get ready for a special day next week, which is Thanksgiving, I believe.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely excited to eat some turkey.
Oh yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about that tomorrow.
And that's
not tomorrow, Thursday, my bad.
Yeah, right, Thursday. That's it for today's broadcast for us here at WCMO TV. Thank you for watching. We hope you'll join us Tuesdays and Thursdays at noon 30 and 6:30 for WCMO NewsCenter 15, Marietta College Broadcasting. See you next time.